Iowa's News Now Caitlin Fever from Iowa to Indy is sponsored by Cabinet Style and these supporters.
Welcome to Caitlin Fever from Iowa to Indy. We're going to get ready for Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever taking on the Chicago Sky this weekend. Second time Clark and Angel Reese go head-to-head in the WNBA. A little more on their history in a minute. But in the next half hour, we're going to be sitting down with some of the biggest names in Iowa basketball. Lisa Bluder reflecting on her time with Caitlin in Iowa City. Kate Martin and Megan Gustin sharing stories of their reunion with the Las Vegas Aces. We'll also catch up with former City High and Iowa State star Ashley Jones about her ride in the W. But first, we get to Caitlin and company. The Fever coming into Sunday's game against the Sky, finally getting some time off between games. What a concept, right? They played their first 11 games of the campaign in the first 3 weeks of the season. Thursday was game 3 since that stretch. Their first in front of a home crowd in Indy in almost 2 weeks, hosting the Atlanta Dream. First quarter, Fever down 2. Clark takes the handoff from Aaliyah Boston, dishes to Kelsey Mitchell, who drives to the cup, the hoop, and the harm. Big night for Mitchell, 24 points. She returns the favor later in the first. Mitchell to Clark for the tray. The only 3 of the game for Caitlin, just one of those nights. Second quarter, Indy leading now. Boston gets the board, kicks out to Clark. CC will do the rest to extend the advantage to 15, but this turns into quite the game in the fourth. We are tied when Clark reciprocates to Boston. Put Indy back up 27 on the night for Aaliyah Boston to get the win for the Fever.
We have a set of standards, and I didn't feel like we didn't meet those the other night against Connecticut, and they as well thought the same after we had time to talk about it. So we're gonna figure out, like, we set standards for our team, and that's what we want to reach every single night, and they know that, and I thought they did it tonight.
Now, we didn't hear from Caitlin after Thursday's game. 7 points for her on 3 of 11 shooting, 6 assists, 4 boards, 7 turnovers, but a win is a win, certainly, for the Fever. So the focus moves to Sunday and the Sky for Clark and company. Between the 2023 National Championship, March matchup in the Elite Eight, and last month's first meeting as pros, this is the 4th game pitting Clark against Angel Reese. They say there's no rivalry between them. They've said that a few times now. Not stopping the national media, though, from trying to make it a rivalry. Reese admits that famous ring signal at the end of the title game in Dallas probably helped ignite the perception and help the game explode onto the national scene.
So many people are watching women's basketball right now. Yeah. It all started from the national championship game, and I've been dealing with this for 2 years now. Look where women's basketball is. People are talking about women's basketball, but you never would think that we'd be talking about women's basketball. People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like, just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on. Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me, too, and I want y'all to realize that. Like, it's not just because of one person. A lot of us have done so much for this game.
Of course, a ton of the talk after that first Fever Sky game this year was that hip check foul from Kennedy Carter. Felt like everybody took a side online and on the debate shows. A lot of reaction to what looked like Reese cheering on that contact. Caitlin shared her thoughts right after the game. Carter wouldn't discuss it then, but talked about it a few days later.
I think at the end of the day, I'm a competitor. Now that it's another day, I've had an off day. Now I can answer your questions and I can let you know how I really feel about things. But I'm a competitor, and I'm going to compete no matter who you are and no matter who's in front of me. So that's just what it was. Heat of the moment play. We're getting at it. We're going back and forth. It's basketball. It's all hoops. After we finish the game, it's all love.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it, but I think it's just like, just respond, come down, let your play do the talking. It is what it is. It's a physical game. Go make the free throw and then execute on offense. And I feel like that's kind of what we did, but, it is what it is, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I'm just at the point where you accept it and don't retaliate. Like, just let them hit you, be what it is. Don't let it get inside your head.
Couple more matchups between Indy and Chicago just in the next few days or so. You've got the game in Indy Sunday on CBS2, another one in Chicago on June 23rd. Clark and company have games against Washington, Atlanta, and Seattle. And then finally, we get that first matchup with Diana Taurasi and the Phoenix Mercury. Fever still haven't played Dallas or Minnesota. Of course, the Lynx were Caitlin's favorite team as a kid. She was a big Maya Moore fan. There are ups and downs like you'd expect for any rookie, but Caitlin's more than held her own in the W so far. She leads all rookies in points and assists, top 5 in rebounds too. Still, we've seen the struggles too. Curtis Fader gets a closer look at Caitlin's move from college to the pros.
6 foot from the University of Iowa, 22, Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark arrived in Indianapolis as arguably the most hyped prospect in WNBA history With a huge following surrounding her from her record-breaking performances at Iowa, Clark already made a huge impact on the league and the Indiana Fever before she even stepped onto the court, helping to sell out arenas across the country. The people of Indiana have also fully embraced her as women's hoops become the talk of the summer.
My daughter picked it out.
Okay.
It's the clock effect.
Oh, okay.
I mean, these cards right here, I mean, they're $700 and $800, really short printed autograph cards. If they were Tamika Catchings, they'd be probably 20% of that value.
Clark has proven her value to the WNBA on the court, winning Rookie of the Month in May, but the adjustment to the pro level hasn't gone totally smooth. She faces an incredible amount of attention and physicality from opposing defenses. Being one of the worst teams in the league, getting everyone else's best shot, the Fever have racked up several losses to start the year, taking some lumps along the way, some of which seemingly unnecessary.
With 12 points off the bench, the question is, will they call it unnecessary? Kennedy Carter.
As tensions around Caitlin Clark's rookie season reach a fever pitch, the national conversation has diverted far from basketball.
The discussion about Caitlin Clark has to deal with, and I mean initially and loudly, race.
But I do think that she is more relatable to more people because she's white, because she's attractive.
We were not talking about Caitlin Clark before Angel Reese walked up to her, did this, and pointed to the ring.
People didn't notice the game. They're noticing it now. Well, that's because of Caitlin Clark, not Angel Reese.
With mounting scrutiny on this 22-year-old woman's shoulders, her priority when it comes to the league remains the same as when she first stepped in Indiana, performing at a high level while bringing joy to those who watch her on the court.
People get so excited to come to these games and are spending a lot of their time and money, enjoying that and trying to make time for as many people as you can, but also give it everything you got. These people are coming for a show, and not everything's going to be perfect, but just try to play with the same joy and fun that you've always had.
No trip to Paris for Caitlin this summer. Team USA's Olympic roster's out, and she is not on it. You could argue this was actually a long shot in the first place, even though fans have been clamoring for Caitlin to be on Team USA. She's played a lot on the junior national team, but had to miss the last couple of April training camps because Iowa was in the Final Four the last 2 years. Her college commitments have really kept her from getting that senior team training that a lot of the other players have. Publicly, Caitlin says not making the team doesn't bother her, but Fever head coach Christy Side shared a different reaction.
Honestly, no disappointment. I think it just gives you something to work for. That's a dream. Hopefully one day I can be there, and I think it's just a little more motivation. You remember that, and hopefully in 4 years, when 4 years comes back around, I can be there. I'm excited for the girls that are on the team. I know it's the most competitive team in the world, and I know it could have gone either way of me being on the team, me not being on the team. So, I'm excited for them. I'm going to be rooting them on to win gold.
A little disappointed, of course. She's my player. That's the hardest team in the world to make, right? That is a tough team. She's young. She's going to have so many opportunities in the future. We talked actually on the bus. She got the call on the bus, and she texted me to let me know. And, I just tried to keep her spirits. The thing she said was, hey, Coach, they woke a monster, which I thought was awesome.
Team USA is going for an 8th straight gold medal. They haven't lost an Olympic game since 1992. That was a decade before Caitlin was even born. She will look to make her Olympic debut in 2028 when the Summer Games come to Los Angeles. Now, while Clark waits for a turn on the national team, City High and Iowa State alum Ashley Jones is waiting for a turn on any team. She was a rookie last year in the WNBA, played with 3 teams throughout the season. The goal, of course, is to get back to the W at some point and play overseas in between. For now, she's back in Iowa City helping coach. Owen Sebring sits down with her for some perspective on being a rookie in the WNBA.
Ashley Jones sitting along with us. Ashley, I know you're enjoying a busy summer where you're doing a lot of coaching, a lot of things right now. You're just coming off getting your WNBA championship ring with the Las Vegas Aces. Just walk us through what this first year in the league was like for you as your whole rookie season developed, what that was like for you. I know you traveled around a lot. What was that season, that transition like for you?
Oh yeah, it was pretty crazy. Just transitioning from college, and you go straight to the WNBA, going to Dallas and meeting new players, new teammates, and kind of learning their system, and then all of a sudden getting traded to another team in the middle of the year. So it's crazy just how you can go from playing on one team for 4 or 5 years, and then all of a sudden you're on 2 teams and 3 teams in 1 year, and it's like, whoa. Yeah. And so it's quick adjustments that you have to make.
You've got to experience some pretty incredible moments recently, going to the White House, getting your rings for the Las Vegas Aces. Were those moments bigger than any moment you actually experienced last season? Have these been the highlights of your WNBA career so far?
I mean, they've been pretty special just to get the opportunity to play with the Las Vegas Aces and experience that organization, that team. And I mean, they're a special team, really great players, great people. And I mean, I learned a lot there, and to get the opportunity to go to the White House with them and get a ring was pretty special.
Well, there's no better person to ask about just this transition that some of these local Iowa rookies have had to the WNBA. So let's maybe first talk about somebody that you played with on the All-Iowa Attack, and Caitlin Clark, the #1 pick by the Indiana Fever. Her transition, I mean, there's been some ups and downs. She's had some good games, some games where she's, going 1 for 10 from the field. I mean, did you anticipate that she was going to have, a lot of career ups and downs in this first year in the league?
Yeah, I mean, you're transitioning from college. You just came off a really long season, and the league's another level. I mean, you're going up, you're moving up, and it's more physical, it's faster. You have to adjust as the game goes on, and just learn how to adapt to the play, the style of play, and your team. Learning to play with new players, getting that chemistry down, and I think that's the biggest thing that people forget is that you're going up another level, and you can't do exactly what you did in college at this level. Mm-hmm. I mean, the league is physical, and you go overseas and it's even more physical. And so, I mean, if you're driving to the basket, you're going to get fouled, and no one's intentionally fouling, and they're playing basketball. Everyone's competitive, everyone wants to win, and I mean, this is your job, so you have to go out there and compete every time, and you're playing for a spot on the team because you could get cut at any moment.
What was your biggest challenge, your biggest obstacle adjusting from college to the WNBA?
Probably the physicality and the speed of the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just goes a lot faster. You don't have as much time to think. In Vegas, they always said 0.5 seconds. So, like, you have 0.5 seconds to know what you're going to do. You're not going to hold the ball there and dribble around for 20 of the seconds on the shot clock. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to make your decisions quick, and you have to learn how to play with your teammates.
Mm-hmm. And you can hear all of Owen's conversation with Ashley on the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel. They talk about her time playing in Italy and what she thinks about Kate Martin's success so far with Las Vegas.
I don't want to say like I'm surprised, but am I really happy and grateful that I have this opportunity? Yes, I am.
Speaking of the glue, Martin and Megan Gustin right next to her reunited on the Aces after their days together in Iowa City. Owen catches up with them about their season so far with the defending champs. Plus, Owen's talking to everybody, it seems. He goes one-on-one with Lisa Bluder about retirement, whether she'll coach again, and what she thinks about Clark's start in the WNBA. It's all ahead on Caitlin Fever from Iowa to Indy.
On the night of the WNBA draft, the excitement of Caitlin Clark getting taken first overall was nearly overshadowed when Kate Martin got picked by the Aces in the second round. Now, Gustafson and the Glue, former college teammates, are trying to win Vegas its third straight WNBA title. Kate Martin holds a unique place in Hawkeye history, bridging the gap between the Megan Gustafson and the Caitlin Clark eras. From hoisting a Big Ten trophy with Megan in 2019, now the two are reunited in Vegas after the Aces made Money Martin a second-round draft pick.
I was laying on my couch watching. Pancake was on the ground sleeping. All of a sudden I see her name there, and I jumped and I almost stepped on my dog.
What's bad for Pancake's health has been great for Kate's career. She didn't just land a spot on the roster, but Kate Martin has been one of Vegas's first options off of their bench.
I don't want to say like I'm surprised because that makes it feel like I have no confidence in myself, but am I really happy and grateful that I have this opportunity? Yes, I am. That's my job, is to go out there and impact the game in any way I possibly can. And so that's really just been my approach with the minutes that I get.
I noticed it right away in training camp. She's the hardest worker. She's a very smart player. She cuts when she's supposed to. She doesn't make mistakes. Yes, you do, but we all do. I make a lot. No, not really. Like, she knows what she's doing, and just to see her fit in has been really special to see, from my end. Obviously, we've had a little bit different journeys, but at the same time, it's been pretty similar for us, both being drafted second round, coming into the league. But just really excited for her. Her hard work has definitely paid off.
Kate and Megan's career path has seen them go from one of the greatest coaches in women's collegiate hoops to now playing for Becky Hammon, one of the greatest coaches in WNBA history.
They're both strong female leaders, and they are very uplifting with their players, and they want to, continue to elevate strong female leaders on their team, and that's the main similarity I see between them both.
They're two of the best coaches I've ever had in my life, hands down. I knew that from day one from each of them. So just very blessed to be a part of, obviously, Iowa women's basketball, and then now with the Aces. We're just really excited to be here.
Caitlin, Kate, and Megan, just a few of the catalysts that have helped build Iowa women's basketball into a perennial Big Ten power and put the Hawkeyes in the national conversation. But none of them are with Iowa anymore. Lisa Bluder also retired now after almost a quarter century at the helm of the Hawks. It is the Jan Jensen era now in Iowa City, and Curtis Fader's looking ahead to what's on the horizon there.
2024 marks a changing of the guard in the story of the Iowa women's basketball team. After the most successful two-year stretch in program history, the Hawkeyes say goodbye to a historic senior class, including the likes of Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, and Caitlin Clark. Also, the program says goodbye to Lisa Bluder after a decorated career spanning multiple decades, capped off by back-to-back national championship appearances, with the team breaking the record for most attended women's basketball game, along with selling out Carver Hawkeye Arena for every game last season. Bluder wanted to leave one final message to Iowa fans before entering retirement.
Promise me that you'll fill Carver Hawkeye Arena again next year.
There's still lots to be excited about for the Hawkeyes next season. Hannah Stolke and Sydney Falter have proven to be reliable in the starting five in big moments. Lucy Olsen will look to be the main guard threat after being a star for Villanova. In terms of the big change at head coach, Jan Jensen may be the most qualified to take over, turning down several other head coach opportunities to remain at Iowa, ready to coach up the next generation of post players and the rest of the squad for the first time under the title Iowa women's basketball head coach.
In this new era together, we're going to build on all the greatness of the GOAT, Coach Bluder, that she did for all those years. And we're going to just keep building, and we're going to keep growing. And as I've told each of you in individual texts and calls and group-wise, thank you for sticking with me and believing in this place, because it's going to be awesome.
While the Hawkeyes shift into a new era, there are many successful components to the program that will remain the same, and no reason that this team can't get Carver rocking once again.
The beginning of the Jensen era means the end of the Lisa Bluder era, and what an era it was. We just didn't expect it to end when it did, but Bluder decided to retire in a bit of a surprise announcement back in May. Owen Sebring is sitting down with Bluder now to hear about her plans for retirement and what she thinks about her former players in the pros.
Well, Lisa Bluder, our favorite retired coach of the Hawkeyes, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. Appreciate you joining us today. Such a pleasure to see you again. Well, Coach, you surprised us all. You surprised the media, the Hawkeye fans, maybe even some of your own coaching staff. Was that the way you kind of knew you wanted to go out? Did you know that you didn't want to have a big, long, drawn-out farewell tour and all that?
I did not want any part to do with that, you know. I think if you're a coach, it's if you can go out on your own terms, it's a really good thing. And not many get to do that, and I had an opportunity to do that, and it was just the right time.
For you personally, do you feel like this is definitely the end of coaching for you? Do you ever see yourself potentially getting back into it down the road anywhere?
No, I don't at all. I mean, why would I leave one of the best jobs in America to go into another job? I just can't see that at all in the future.
Well, we've already seen some vacation plans with you in Indianapolis and Las Vegas. Do you plan on making a lot of trips to still see Kate and Caitlin and Megan over these next few years?
Oh, I want to. I want to support those guys as much as I can, because I mean, that's the fun part about coaching, is watching your players go on and succeed at what they want to do in life, and whether that's being a teacher, a doctor, or playing in the WNBA. But if they're playing in the WNBA, it gives me an opportunity to actually go cheer. Can't do that when they're a doctor.
Let's talk about that transition by the #1 draft pick in the WNBA this year, Caitlin. Is this first month or so of the season, is it what you expected to see out of her on the Fever, or has anything surprised you so far?
You know, I thought it was going to be a tough transition. I think she's done it remarkably well. I'm so impressed with how she's handled everything that's been thrown at her, from the media to the other opponents and what they're doing to her. I think she has been absolutely remarkable in handling all of it, because it's a lot for a 22-year-old.
Did you expect this kind of treatment, maybe the physicality? I think she's leading the league in fouls drawn right now. Did you expect that this was going to be what she'd get at this level?
Absolutely.
Really?
I kind of tried to warn her about that a little bit, talk about it with her and her parents. But yeah, I thought this was going to be coming.
Well, let's talk about this other rookie that you've got out in Vegas this year. I mean, I think that I won't ask you if it was a surprise to you, but I think a lot of fans have been surprised at just how many minutes she's gotten this first year in the league. Does this at least take you off guard with how much she's gotten minutes just as a rookie in her first month of her career?
I love it. And the thing about Kate is she went to a really good program. She went to the World Championship program. And so obviously the focus isn't on her like it is on Caitlin with the Fever. So it's totally different. You can't really say, you know, this is apples and oranges, really. And she's got a really good product there, great fan support. And I love it that when she goes in, the place goes nuts. She's become a fan favorite for that team. Her jersey is sold out. You can't buy her jersey. So I think she's just embracing being a part of the team, not trying to do too much, just do what they ask her to do, where Caitlin, on their hand, has to do so much for her team.
That is just part of Owen's extended conversation with Bluder. We'll have the full interview on the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel. After the break on Caitlin Fever, we go back to the Caitlin Clark effect and see how she's inspired the next generation and how they're already raising the bar themselves here in Iowa.
Caitlin Clark is the one helping sell out arenas in the WNBA, but long before Caitlin put on the maroon and white at Dowling Catholic, girls basketball had long been big business in Iowa, from 6-on-6 sellouts to now producing some of the nation's top talent. With the addition of girls wrestling as a sanctioned sport, high school basketball numbers in Iowa have actually gone down over the last couple of years. But Gary Ross from the Iowa Girls High School Athletic Union says that despite the dip in numbers, he's seen an explosion in talent over the last few years.
Definitely the quality has continued to get better and better each year. I think we're seeing more and more kids are involved in AAU, and a lot of that also comes from the great outstanding performances that many of our Iowans have shown collegiately and professionally now.
22, Caitlin Clark.
Not only are native Iowans like Caitlin and Ashley Jones and Kia Stokes playing at the biggest stage, but for a state without a professional sports franchise, Iowa produces some of the country's best collegiate talent. 2 straight years of the Hawkeyes in the championship game. Wartburg was in the Division III Final Four this past season, and each of the last 2 NAIA national champions have come from Iowa. For a state on the lower half of population numbers nationwide, those are pretty incredible numbers.
When people look across the nation at Iowa, they kind of wonder what's going on. And, I'm probably biased, but I think our parents and our kids in our state are special. I think our parents do a great job raising them. We have great values in the Midwest. I think our kids work hard. I think our coaches do a great job of connecting with our athletes.
With the increase in talent and exposure of girls hoops in Iowa, Gary Ross has lofty aspirations for what might come next.
I guess I would like to see it continue to grow. Some point down the road, maybe we'll get a professional women's team in Iowa or something, that's with the growth of the sport in our state. I think people come out and watch the games. So, maybe that'll happen down the road.
Not only playing at the highest level, but winning rings. Both Kia Stokes and Ashley Jones, who grew up playing MVC ball right here in the corridor, they both were members of last year's Aces team that won the WNBA championship.
And again, if you want to watch any of those extended interviews with Lisa Bluder, Ashley Jones, Kate Martin, Megan Gustin, anything we've covered on the Hawkeye basketball team or anybody else over the last few years, head to the Iowa's News Now YouTube channel. Enjoy the game, and thanks for watching.